Hi, I'm Christine Cushing, and welcome to another helping of My Favorite Foods. What's the most famous Greek cookie? The one that has the perfect crumble, that lures you in with spices, cinnamon, cloves, a little orange, and is bathed in honey syrup? I'm talking about Melomakarona. Pame. Seriously, for me, Melomakarona go beyond a favorite. I mean, they're verging on an obsession. And once you make them my way, I think you're gonna feel exactly the same way that I do, obsessed. Step one is I'm gonna combine the extra virgin olive oil with the wet ingredients remaining. So here I'm adding some freshly squeezed orange juice. Freshly squeezed is very important. You're gonna get maximum flavor there. And we're gonna throw in a little brandy. That also is gonna heighten just the aromatics of this recipe. It's all about that. And what I do here is I actually add the sugar to the extra virgin olive oil, white sugar. And this is just done all by hand. Now what I do here is I add the spices to this because I've ground these spices myself, so I don't want to sift them because they might kind of catch in the sieve. So all those spices I was talking about, clove, oh baby, that's almost bordering on pepper, the clove. Then half as much allspice, which has a little bit of that pepperiness, but then a little bit more of a rounder flavor. And you can't have Melomakarona without cinnamon. I mean, that's what I'm talking about. And guess what we're doing also? A little bit of allspice for good luck. Or in Greek, mosko karido, fragrant nut. Look at this. You can't even imagine how this smells already. Seriously. Next step, dry ingredients, sifting onto parchment. I'm using a fine mesh sieve, hard to say. And here is the big secret about making Melomakarona. You want to use a softer flour. Sometimes it's called cake, sometimes pastry, sometimes cake and pastry, lower protein, more tender cookies. Double leavener here. We've got baking soda and baking powder, twice as much baking powder as soda. And I'm going to sift this, if I can, 2 or 3 times. Softer flour, pastry flour, tends to clump more. So by sifting it, I aerate it and I ensure a tender, beautiful, perfect cookie. I am adding, and this is optional, but it does make a difference, some fine semolina to the mix. Adding that semolina is a game changer because what it's going to do is going to give that cookie a tender and a crumbly texture. It's a bit of an oxymoron because semolina is actually from hard flour, but you're not developing the gluten so much, so you're going to get that little bit of a granular texture. It's so amazing. It's optional, but trust me, you want this option. Now we combine the wet with the dry. Stirring this together with a spoon, with my hands. Nothing mechanical here, nothing at all. Wait till you try these. There is going to be some losing it happening. And it's a fairly tender dough. You can see that. That's it. I'm going to resist the urge to continue to knead this because I just want it to come together. Now we're ready to shape and bake. Last step before baking is to put a nice little pattern on them. I'm going with a mallet, but you can do whatever you like, a fork, the back of a knife, But let's see how these look. Oh, look how cute that is. Look how fantastic they look. 350 Fahrenheit fan setting, about 25 minutes. Are you ready to play the Greek word of the day? Today's word is going to be a little easy but sweet. The word is meli. I don't even have to slow it down for you. Meli, super easy. It just means honey, and it really makes this recipe. It's all about the meli in Melomakarona, basically a honey dough. So in here I'm combining equal parts sugar, meli. Oh, that's the magic. And water. Also going to add a little bit of ground cinnamon. Can't have enough cinnamon. Bringing this to a boil. And I want to cook this syrup down for about 10 or 12 minutes. It's just going to get a little bit more glossy, and that should be perfect. 28 minutes exactly. Look at these. Oh, yeah. You see how they're a little bit cracked? That's what I'm after, because if they're perfect, that means that I've overworked them and they're not going to be that tender, beautiful cookie that they're supposed to be. Let's have a look at the syrup. Give it a nice little swirl. Now it's off the heat, and these guys have come out of the oven and they're going for a dippity-doo right in the syrup while they're still hot. I kind of do 4 at a time, or however many will fit in here. And they're going to spend about 3 minutes or so, and I'm going to flip them halfway through. You want to be organized here, because I'm going to flip them over now, and now I want to think of what am I going to put them on once they come out of this honey syrup. Because if you leave them in here, guess what? You know when you dip that cookie in the coffee and it disintegrates? That's what's going to happen. Okay, these are perfect. I'm not going to let them go any longer than that. And right into my little paper. Traditionally, walnuts are a big thing. So chopped walnuts, I'm going to go with the guys that are already have their little paper, because then the walnuts aren't going to go to waste, right? That's a traditional way of doing it. If you start salivating while you're making these, it's totally normal. Do not call your doctor. It's a good thing. Look at these. We always get to this tasting time. I gotta run on the spot with these. Oh my God. The meli, honey, really makes this cookie. And what happens is the longer they sit, they're gonna get softer, because that honey is really gonna seep through the whole cookie. And it's almost got a cake-like texture. And that's the thing about the cracking on top, right? Because they're not worked a lot, you don't work the gluten, so they're not really finding their shape. And then once you hit them with that honey syrup and the walnuts, game over. Like, it's done. Look at the texture of that. So beautiful. Semolina is a game changer. Trust me on that. I'm not even gonna say if you make these, I'm gonna say when you make these, be prepared. People will be lining up with their little to-go bags, parcels, boxes. You're gonna be having your own little Greek bakery happening. They are that good. I mean, I've only been working on them, I don't know, tens of years, many, many years, and they are perfection finally. Please enjoy making these. Let me know what's happening in your kitchen. Thank you for joining me on another helping of My Favorite Foods. There's going to be a lot of crumbs, but you're going to want to just scrape them all up, lick them up, the honey, the spices, the walnuts. It's a thing of beauty. Yeses.